Hey, are you a really good person? Do you work hard? You always thinking about other people and thinking about what you can be doing to help other people, and maybe thinking to yourself how you could be more free, but maybe, gosh, I don't know, maybe you're working really hard but you just feel like you're spinning your tires, you're kind of stuck. Maybe you're at a plateau, maybe you're even going backwards, the wrong direction, and you so badly want to be able to do more for yourself, your family, and have a bigger impact and contribute more for other people around you that are really in need of some help. But you're just stuck and you don't know what to do. And working hard isn't the issue because you're willing to roll up your sleeves and do what it takes, but you just don't know what to do. If that's you, good God, stick around for this video and see if you get anything out of it that can help you move to the next place that you want to be. This isn't going to be a how-to video, but it is going to be a video where I'm at least going to start pointing you in the right direction, a different direction, something that you haven't done before, something that you probably haven't even thought of before. So right off the bat, it's got a better hope than maybe some other things you've tried that didn't work out. So what standing do I, Tom Berkemeyer, have to make such a claim, and why on earth should you even be listening to me? Well, that's up to you if you want to listen to me, but let me give you some standing to see if you even want to continue watching the rest of this video. I had my own stuff to overcome. I was there, I was frustrated, I was spinning my tires, I was showing up and working hard and going backwards. I wasn't even in a plateau, I was actually going the reverse direction. I went, when I was in school, I was dumber than a box of rocks. Special education classes, I rode the short bus to school, and even still I got held back even when I was in the first grade, and I still struggled to maintain a C or a D average, very hyperactive. This was just before they started handing out Ritalin and other behavioral medications like it was candy, just before they had that wonderful label of ADD and ADHD, which I'm sure I would have gotten if I were born just a year or two later than I was. So I had my stuff to overcome. I was affected by the economy when it crashed and the housing market fell out and all these other things, and the cascading domino effect it had over everything. I felt all that too. I had my stuff to overcome. We've all got something to overcome. And I finally figured it out. In 2010, I had an incredible year. It started with some massive mental breakthroughs that I made. Massive mental breakthroughs that led to blowing up my confidence and my personal income by over 700%, which led eventually to being able to contribute so much more, do so much more for so many other people, and create my own freedom. And I could fire my boss. Fireyourboss.xyz, by the way, if you want to read more about that. Fireyourboss.xyz, not .com, but .xyz. And having that kind of freedom of time meant I could put my energy on creating experiences with other people, or by myself, or a combination of both, whatever I wanted to do. Interesting projects where I could contribute more time, more effort, more energy without money having to be this thing I got to worry about. Instead of, before that, my mind was actually on money, because you need money to pay bills and you got to keep making money to keep being able to pay the bills. It was just this crazy non-ending circular pattern of work, money, bills, work, money, bills. It's a circular pattern, it's vicious, and it really keeps you back from being able to spend your time how you want and to being able to do more for other people. It really gets in the way of that. It hinders it big time. You know exactly what I'm talking about because you're living it. It's a pretty big deal. So I'm not living that anymore. My time is no longer tied to my money. I figured it out. And the really cool thing about leveraging the wisdom of other people who've been there, done that, and figured it out, it can shave years, maybe a lifetime of time off of your efforts in figuring it out. It can probably save you unlimited sums of money in figuring it out. And it can probably save you unquantifiable levels of frustration and maybe heartache. So time, money, frustration, heartache, devastation, all these things. That's the great thing about leveraging wisdom from other people who have been there, done that, figured it out, maybe can show you the way too. The great thing about leveraging that is that you can avoid a great deal of a lot of those unwanted things. You know what I'm saying? So that's a pretty huge shortcut right there in and of itself. So that's some of my standing. And what did it mean when I overcame some of this stuff? I'm going to circle this back to you. Don't worry. Well, after firing my boss and being able to put my time where I want it, being able to do more for other people and create more freedom and so forth, one of my projects is I really wanted to get into investing in the kind of real estate that lower to middle income families could afford without taking food off the table and going even more broke than they already were. That's a pretty cool deal. So I got into that. The house that I'm in right now, I bought in cash. Imagine that, buying a house in cash when I was 32 years old. I'm 37 now. That's a big deal. No mortgage. That frees up a lot of money to be able to put even more money to work to do things that you really care about, such as I started buying these multi-unit buildings that I could rent out, fix them up. Just like, I mean, they're like new. I'm not kidding, from inside out, like new homes. And I just got my 5th building rented, and I was able to do this inside of a year and a half, by 5 buildings inside of a year and a half. Pretty neat. And I just got the 5th one just rented out just now. I mean, amazing, amazing, amazing deal. This one is actually my first single family home, $850 a month. The rent is in a nice neighborhood in a house that is just like new. I mean, it's really, 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 I spent a ton of money fixing it up just like new. And now this family gets to live there at a great rate without taking food off their table. And it's just a really, really great thing. And the cash flow that I do receive from it, I actually don't receive it. I, by my own free accord, because I have that freedom now, I can put it back into that particular business of buying more homes that I can fix up really nice and rent out to lower to middle income families. Same thing, without them going broke, to be able to afford a really nice, clean quality place to live in a good neighborhood. And so that sort of thing just, it keeps 100%. I reinvest any cash flow right back into itself. I don't know, honestly, if I will ever take out any distributions from that business for myself. I mean, I've got other streams of income that take care of me, and they're passive streams. So that's pretty neat to be able to do that. Everybody else, just about everybody else that wants to do some kind of a business, they need to pull out money from it to live, because they don't have anything else covering for them. That's just the way it is. I don't. So I don't. And I don't have a greedy mentality. I would rather keep reinvesting all of it. The more I keep doing that, the more I can make an impact, a difference, affect more and more people, more families that need a really nice, clean, quality place to live in a good neighborhood without going broke and taking food off the table. The more I can do that and keep reinvesting back into itself, the more I can do that, the more lives are impacted. So that's just one example of many, many examples. So here's where I'm going to start tying this back off into you. I hope you enjoy that off-center piece. I'm not editing this. One reason you guys love my videos, you've told me many times, is because they're raw. But here's where I tie it back into you. Write this down. This is where I'm going to start aiming you in the right direction to start looking, so that you can find your own way and your own path, so that you can create more freedom, contribution, make a bigger difference, and finally start getting ahead instead of more frustrated spinning your tires. Research, Google, read, study passive income and residual income. That's the only kind of income that creates freedom and can be used to create contribution and more contribution. And it's unlimited. There is no limit to it except for the limitation in your brain. Research those. I did. And I started leveraging the wisdom of other people who've been there, done that, could show me the way. Eventually, I became teachable and coachable. That made a big difference. And that's what led to me in 2010 blowing up my personal income by over 700%, which led to me being able to have more, to be able to put more to work, to be able to do more, to contribute more, to be able to create more freedom and impact and contribution. The thing with the houses and helping out lower and middle income families and things like that, it all started with that passive residual money, and then the results that followed and that keep following. And being able to get a house in cash when I was only 32 years old. That's pretty cool. So let me go deeper into that on a conceptual level, because I want you to be free, independent thinkers. I'm not going to make a how-to video inside of this video. I've got plenty of other how-to stuff about other things. Sadly, and unfortunately, and to the devastation of the planet and the sickness of the planet and the stress and frustration and sickness in so many people's lives, there is a mainstream, average school of thought, average mainstream thinking belief out there that says money somehow is evil, and people hold a very negative energy towards money. That is, everyone except the criminals of the world who love making lots of money and don't question the consequences of their profiting. And they actually pollute the world with all the money that they make. But there's also another set of people that get very little, if any, press time, that are doing wonderful things with money, that are using it to heal the world, not pollute the world. So because we're mostly inundated with the corporate greed and people doing bad things with money and screwing people over and this and that, that's mostly what we hear about. So, it's very easy to become mentally, I don't say this to put anybody down, but when we have a pattern of evil doing associated with making lots of money, and that's what we're exposed to, it's very easy to be mentally lazy so that we don't have to think about it and we just draw conclusions. Oh, well, money must be bad. If you're going to make a lot of money, the only way to do it is to hurt a lot of people. And it doesn't really require any thought to draw that conclusion, even though it's a very false and very dangerous conclusion that is having dire consequences. Poverty perpetuates. Kids starving to death perpetuates. Global human trafficking and children's sex and slave rings are allowed to perpetuate and grow because of the good people of the world having this negative energy towards money. You see, if we get over our hang-ups about money and start learning that money can be used to heal or pollute the planet, and we realize it's a tool, it's a resource like every other tool, it doesn't have a motivation, it doesn't have any conscious thought, we do. It's what we do with it. So the more that the good people of the world and the generous people destroy their ego about money, and we get out of this self-protection mode, and we go out there and make piles and piles of cash because now we see there's a purpose behind it. And we can start to take control of the money supply away from the criminals of the world. And we can start to heal the planet. We can start to reverse poverty. We can feed more starving kids, of which there are 1 billion plus kids who are starving to death right now, because you have a very negative energy towards money that keeps you from using it to help anybody. And all of the other problems. Children's sex slave rings. We can start to reverse all that stuff. Climate change. The stuff that's going on with the environment. Everything. We can start to reverse a lot of things and start to heal each other and the planet just by getting over our negative energy about money. And the criminals of the world, they will lose their power grip that they have over you and your family and the planet in which we live on. Wouldn't that be a lot better, much more fun than what we have right now? It starts with getting over a negative energy about money. And let me share something with you. As you do your research about passive and residual money, check this out. You are going to find out as you go down that research trail that people who are rich in passive money, people who are rich in residual money, and people who are especially rich in both residual and passive money, they never think about money. They never think about money. There's this lie perpetuating that rich people, all they think about is money. That's why they got a lot of money. That's all they think about. That's not true. Now, maybe somebody who has a rich savings account, somebody who hoards all their money and they're not putting any of it to work to help anybody at all, maybe they think about money. I don't know. But people that are rich with passive and residual money, they have freedom. They are not thinking about money. They're thinking about how grateful they are to have all that freedom to spend their time how they wish, creating experiences and contributing and impacting people's lives positively. That's what they're thinking about. The people that spend the most time thinking about money are people that don't have any because they have to constantly keep working. Remember back to that vicious, that never-ending circular pattern of you gotta keep working, Keep getting paid, keep paying the bills. So you can keep working, so you can keep getting paid, keep paying the bills. And it just keeps going. There's no end to it unless you throw a wrench in there, and that wrench being passive and residual money. That's the only end there is to it. Either that or death. I mean, when you die, that puts an end to it. But then you've lived your life, and what's your legacy at that point? You spent your life working for money and being needy for a paycheck to pay the bills. I think it's a lot more interesting, a lot more fun. It's a lot more generous. This is a lot more generous. It takes the equation off of yourself to build up a big passive and residual income. That's why people, I'm not talking about rich people in terms of hoarding cash to themselves, but rich people who are passive cash flow rich, they are the most generous people on planet Earth. Their passive cash flow is a direct result of generosities of varying kinds. So you want to have the most freedom where you're not thinking about money, and you're contributing more, you're creating a bigger impact, and you're helping the planet heal and helping other people heal, and you're building networks of people that have this awesome ability for people in it to help each other. It's inside of creating a passive and residual cash flow. So research the living daylights about that. I hope I've built up enough honest value in it that you're like, I got to figure out what this stuff is. And then just go for it and do your part to be well-informed, educated, not lazy in thinking. I mean, fall in love with learning and being a thoughtful, thinking person. And remove protecting your ego from getting hurt from the equation. This is probably step number one before, a person generally is not going to open up this kind of stuff unless they're out of the business of protecting their ego from getting hurt. And that's why a lot of my videos and a lot of my content actually talk about ego, because it's like nothing else really matters. If the ego and humility isn't in balance, nothing else really matters. Everything else will fall on deaf ears. People will be immune. And the more people are immune to these messages of good and of healing, the more the planet suffers for it. So step number one, get out of the ego protection business. Stop trying to protect it from getting hurt. It doesn't work anyway, and you know that. And I always have to remind people that no matter where your ego is at, no matter what you've done to this point, you've been born with the gift of being able to change your mind. You've done it before. You've proven you can do it again. So you can draw that line in the sand, so to speak. Right now, the best time would be yesterday, but the second best time to draw that line in the sand would be today. And then the worst time would be tomorrow. Procrastinating on that would be the worst time, because all poverties come from procrastination. And that's a fact. All of them. I hope this video made so much sense for you all. I hope it leads you on a bunny trail of making some wonderful discoveries for your own journey, and it leads to you getting ahead, and in a way that helps both you and everyone around you. Wouldn't that be just friggin' awesome? I hope so. And the last thing I want to mention on this particular video is that I have a 30 Days to Profit training sequence. And if you would like to know more about that, just send me a private message. I'll send you a video where I tell you all about it. And if it sounds good to you, we can talk more. If it doesn't sound good to you, hopefully I've given you something else to think about to help you find your own way and something that's a really good fit for you in building up your passive and residual money for all those reasons that you have as to why you'd want to do that for your own freedom and impact on the planet that you want to have. And my 30 Days to Profit group is, it's like a beginning for that, for learning how to do it. That is a how-to of doing it. This video here isn't a how-to. This is just getting you in the right direction. But this training sequence is explicitly a how-to and how to get that going. So I suspect I'll be hearing from quite a few of you real soon. A lot of people have been through it. A lot of people have gotten results in it, no matter where they were planted in life. I've had people that have been abused their whole lives in every way possible, physically, verbally, mentally, who've created success in it. I've had people with diagnosed learning disabilities who have created success in it. I created success in it, and, well, I wrote it, but I wrote it by having created the success and backtracking what I did to create the success so that I could teach it. And so yeah, the proof is in the pudding, as I say. It does seem to work. So yes, I look forward to hearing from quite a few of you real soon. And whether you do this with me or you do it on your own, if I've said something in this video that led you down a path to creating something that you're really happy about, that has an impact on yourself, your family, and other people, whether it's my thing or something else, if I had any part of you finding your way and getting ahead, I would love to hear about it. Just send me a message and share your story with me. I look forward to that as well. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. More videos coming soon. Check out my website, fireyourboss.xyz. Peace out.